Good morning, everybody. My name is Nate Morris, and I'd like to welcome you back to another video. Today, we're at Charlotte Motor Speedway to make history. This weekend, for the first time ever, legend cars will be racing on the iconic high banks of the Charlotte Motor Speedway using the NASCAR Roval configuration. This is definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for myself and many other legend car drivers, so this was definitely a can't-miss event in the legend car world. As a result, 97 legend cars showed up this weekend, and 35 of those were in the semi-pro division, which I race in. This is one of the first national events for the 2026 season, and it's one of the earliest opportunities for drivers on the East Coast to earn points for the National Road Course Championship. So many of the drivers that have shown up this weekend are some of the best legend car road course drivers in the country, and in some cases the world. So this event is going to be no joke. In practice on Friday, it was the first time any of us were able to hit the track, and I felt like a kid in a candy store. The first time I made that left-hand turn onto the banking was probably the coolest moment of my racing career, and I made sure to ride around up against the outside wall just to feel how steep the banking actually was, because honestly, how many times in my life am I going to get to run the high line at Charlotte Motor Speedway? So that was very cool. On my first lap, I was able to run quick enough to be the 7th fastest car in the first practice. Unfortunately, after a red flag that bunched the field back up, I made a mistake on the second lap that ended up costing us some practice time for the rest of the day, but we brought the car back Saturday morning just as good as ever. Unfortunately, there had been some weather in the area Saturday morning, so that delayed our start time by roughly an hour and a half, and our first time on track was for the 4-lap qualifying session. On lap 2, whether it was because I didn't get enough heat in the tires and the brakes, or if I just drove it a little bit too deep, I ended up locking up and spinning out into turn 1. I backed into the fence and caused a little bit of damage to the rear of the car, but luckily I was able to pull away and it didn't seem to impede the car's ability to make speed. On the very next lap, I was able to run a qualifying time of 2:08.18, which was fast enough to qualify 7th for the first feature. This is my best qualifying at a national event, whether it be on oval or road course, so I feel very good starting the day off that way. I definitely feel like I've still got more time to find. I think that I could be in the top 5. So that's my goal for the first race. Make sure I get a good start, at least hold position, but I do feel like I can drive my way forward a little bit and come home with a solid top 5 finish. So thank y'all for clicking on today's video. I hope y'all enjoy it, and let's get into it.
As the tail of the field trying to catch up here. The field makes their way through the short chute. Make our way into turn number 1. I think we might try this again. May have a little something to prove this season. Let's see how this works out. Through the short chute. Green flag is out. We've got one car sideways over in turn number 2. We stay green for the moment. Looks like that may have been an innocent enough spin. We'll see if we can complete the lap. Fight for 5th spot or so, a bit further back. Top 8 or 10 cars, all nose to tail. And Nate Morris. Good run for him. That's something he's got to be proud of. Out of the Morganton, North Carolina area. Been with Todd McCollum for a while now. We got him dialed in. Oh, little lock up there. Lopez, he has to come to a complete stop in the chicane, and they get rolling. Looks like Trent Diller may have blown the chicane. Another car may have blown the chicane. group here. This is for about the 5th spot. The cross start finish, we'll know exactly where they're running. Cooper in 5th. Liv Sapala is in 6th. The car behind him, number 8. It's Gerardo Peralta. Clayton Bohannon a little bit further behind. The 9 of Brandon Lopez going to settle in a little bit behind them. Bodywork flailing already. Quote Posty, it's a flopping fender. The last thing you need on lap number 1 is a flopping fender. You've already been roughed up or roughing somebody up. That's all right. Sapala gets the position for now, or has it, I should say. Work our way into turn number 8. Peralta trying to steal it away. He will for the moment. Clear. Everybody fighting to get to the bottom, but that's not where you want to be. Whoa, boy. Hard on throttle, sideways in the banking, the draft going to come into play here. Brandon Lopez may have a shot to slingshot by both drivers getting into the backstretch chicane. Here comes Clayton Bohannon, look at this run. Gets by Lopez, gets by the 26 of Peralta. Gets it wound down to make the chicane, but loses at least. And Hooper has a problem. Hooper missed the chicane. We saw his car stopped up top. He'll get rolling, but he'll lose the spot. Or many, I should say. Claims the spot over Sapala that time. Lopez now trying to fend off, and you hear red flag on track. So here we go. Green flag is out. 2 laps complete, 6 laps to go. 30-some cars spill into turn number 1, and 30-some cars make it through the first turn and the second turn. Finn Buckley's got his hands full now. Hunter Jordan right behind him. A little different colors for Hunter right now from what we're used to seeing. A little further behind him, we saw Brandon Lopez in a fight for a spot. Lopez in that royal blue car. Clayton Bohannon, the red ride, a little bit further back for about the 8th position. Slides down there in the carousel, turn number 8. And I know Bradshaw stick his nose in there trying to, oh, yikes! Who was that ahead of Brandon Lopez? I think that was William Sapala that had a clean your shorts moment. There you see Maddox Hooper trying to claim a spot for Bohannon just ahead of them. Lopez got by Sapala after his moment. Meanwhile, for position number 2 on the high banks in NASCAR 3 and 4, Hunter Jordan and Aiden McConaughey. Jordan has it, McConaughey wants it. Lap number 3 complete. Most of the field strung out now, single file. This fight for second ago and the fight we had a moment ago further back is also solid. Lots of individual battles through this 30-some car semi-pro lineup. Biggest field on the property. On the foreground, Nate Devone trying to claim a spot in that 3 car. Further back. Meanwhile, McConaughey has had a problem. He lost a lot of ground to Hunter Jordan that time in turn number 6. And this now again, Lopez. This is 6th and 7th position. Clayton Bohannon trying to work around Sapala. I think that's Bradshaw, pardon me. Caden Bradshaw trying to work around William Sapala. Oh, Bradshaw blew the chicane. He's going to come to a complete stop, likely here in the front stretch. Meanwhile, for second, here on the front stretch, here goes McConaughey. McConaughey pulled out, getting into the chicane, got the run through NASCAR 3 and 4. There you hear race control letting Bradshaw know that, yep, we saw that. Gave the opportunity to stop here in the front stretch. Caden Bradshaw going to have to do so elsewhere, likely on the back stretch this time by. Got a pretty substantial lead now over McConaughey after clearing him again through the chicane and after that incident. Whoa! Watch out, Hunter Jordan. That's not how you hold on to him, my friend. Had that thing kicked out plumb sideways, and now Aiden McConaughey can sniff a draft through NASCAR 1 and 2. To the outside, McConaughey rockets around. Jordan's got the preferred lane, however. On the brakes, into the chicane, McConaughey clears him.
Well, that's unfortunate. What a great race we had going. I was able to work my way into the top 4 in the first lap, and I was having a strong run being able to hold that position, and to an extent I was keeping in touch with the top 3. My fastest lap was almost a second faster than anything I had run to that point, and I felt like I was just getting more and more comfortable with the track, and we were in a position to cakewalk my best ever finish at an INEX event. Unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be, because coming to 3 laps to go through NASCAR turns 3 and 4, the right side engine mount broke right at the welds, so the engine dropped down, pinched the drive shaft and the shifter linkage, so that locked the shifter forward in place, so I was unable to change gears, and with the drive shaft being out of place, I wasn't really able to get any kind of drive to the rear wheels, so I just had to push in the clutch, bring it down pit road, and take it to the garage. That was such a deflating feeling to have to roll down pit road while 30 other cars went flying past, just because we were in such a good position to get a great finish. Just one of those things that is really unfortunate when it happens. Obviously, we ended up not being able to finish the race, and I was scored 33rd. Due to time constraints from being behind from the weather earlier in the day, and the fact that we had weather moving in on Sunday, they decided to postpone rounds 2 and 3 to next weekend, and they moved next weekend's round 4, 5, and 6 to a currently undetermined date in March. So we'll have to wait just a little while to hopefully get our redemption at the Roval. All in all, I had a ton of fun this weekend. Being able to race on an actual NASCAR racetrack is a dream come true. The Charlotte Roval is one of the first places where I got to watch a NASCAR race in person. That was the weekend that Chase Elliott drove his car straight into the turn 1 tire barriers and then was able to drive from the back of the field to win the race and did a massive burnout right in front of where we were sitting. That weekend was also the first time I ever got to drive a legend car. US Legend Cars had a driving experience set up behind the Charlotte Motor Speedway on the 5th mile that used to be here, and it was something like $50 for 10 laps, and so I went out and had no idea what I was doing, had never driven a straight drive before in my life, and went out guns a-blazing, spun out the first lap, and at the time it was one of the coolest things I'd ever gotten to do. Who would have guessed that almost 7 years later I would have gotten to drive my legend car on the big track? So because of all that, this weekend will forever hold a special place in my heart. So I want to give a quick shout out to Charlotte Motor Speedway, Speedway Motorsports Inc., US Legend Cars, and INEX for creating something that many of us may never get to experience again. It was such a cool weekend, such a cool racetrack. I've never experienced going into a turn, keeping my foot on the floor, and the car just sticks. You know, you're going through those high banks, and the G-forces are insane. You're doing over 110 miles an hour, and you're waiting for the car to start to get light or break loose, and it just never does. It just sticks. And it's just such a really cool deal. I hope that this becomes the usual layout for this event, because it will be a very tough event to pass up in future years. And even though we didn't get the result we hoped for, we showed good speed, and getting to experience something like this makes this one of the coolest weekends of my racing career. So, thank y'all for watching today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I'll see y'all in the next one.